Attention passionate Detroit, Lions fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Detroit Lions' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Detroit Lions fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Detroit Lions fans. Let's get to the news. The Detroit Lions are sitting at a pretty solid 8-5 record as we inch closer to the end of the regular season, and the buzz around Ford Field is electric. The team has been making strides all year, and now whispers in NFL circles suggest a blockbuster move could be on the horizon, possibly acquiring Jeffrey Simmons from the Tennessee Titans. This kind of move could redefine the Lions' defense and give them that extra edge they've been craving to push deep into the playoffs, and who knows, maybe even chase that elusive Super Bowl title. Now, Simmons isn't just any defensive tackle. He's a mountain in the middle of any defensive line. At 28 years old, he's already established himself as one of the top interior defenders in the league. Last season, he racked up 32 tackles, 18 assists, and a staggering 6.5 sacks, along with 38 quarterback pressures. His PFF grade sits at a remarkable 92, ranking him among the top 3 defensive tackles in the league. What makes Simmons so disruptive is his ability to collapse the pocket and clog running lanes, raising the floor of any defensive front he's a part of. His YAC allowed per carry is just 4.1 yards, which is outstanding for a defender of his caliber, and he's been remarkably durable. 0 missed games due to injury this season. In fact, Simmons' impact on the field is undeniable. He's a player who raises the entire defensive unit's level, and with the Lions, he could be the missing piece to a front seven that's shown flashes of dominance but hasn't always maintained consistency. With Simmons, Detroit's pass rush could explode, adding around 11 projected sacks to their total and significantly improving their run defense, which currently allows roughly 4 points per game. That's a big deal because the Lions have been a bit inconsistent against the run, especially in recent weeks, and Simmons' ability to clog the middle and force opponents into uncomfortable third-and-long situations could be a game-changer. The Titans, on the other hand, seem to be in full rebuild mode, and sources suggest they're open to moving Simmons in exchange for multiple draft picks and perhaps a defensive tackle in return. Titans are sitting at 3-10, and it looks like they're intentionally tanking to secure a higher draft position, especially with the 2025 draft class offering some promising prospects. Moving Simmons would help them clear approximately $4 million in cap space, which they plan to use to rebuild their roster, especially on the offensive line, which has been decimated by injuries and underperformance this season. For the Lions, adding Simmons would be a strategic move. Not only does he solve some of their issues along the interior defensive line, but it also signals their intent to contend now, not just in the future. Detroit's front line has been solid but inconsistent, especially against physical teams that want to run the ball and control the clock. Simmons' presence would elevate their run defense and put more pressure on opposing quarterbacks, especially in the NFC North, where teams like the Green Bay Packers and Minnesota Vikings are also looking to improve their offensive lines and passing games. This move could also be part of a broader strategy to address the team's cap situation. Detroit has around $22 million in space, and bringing in a player like Simmons could be a smart investment if they structure the deal properly. The Lions have shown a willingness to spend and make bold moves this season, and GM Brad Holmes has been aggressive in building a roster capable of competing at the highest level. Simmons' contract, which includes a manageable cap hit for next season, fits well into their plans, especially considering his age and peak performance level. From a statistical standpoint, Simmons compares favorably to other top interior defenders. His ability to generate pressure, averaging 72 pressures this season, is exceptional for a defensive tackle. His EPA, expected points added, per run is at 17, indicating that he's highly effective against the run, disrupting plays before they develop. His career grade of over 89, minimal injury history, and his consistent production make him one of the most reliable defensive players in the league right now. When you factor in his ability to win one-on-one battles, an 84% win rate in penetration situations, it's clear that Simmons can be a dominant force that impacts every play. The potential acquisition could have ripple effects across the entire NFC North. The Packers and Vikings are already trying to bolster their defenses, and the Lions adding a player like Simmons would serve as a significant statement of intent. It would give Detroit an edge in both pass rush and run defense, making them even more formidable against playoff-caliber teams. Plus, his presence could elevate the entire team's confidence, knowing they have an elite interior force anchoring their defense. The betting odds reflect just how much this move could shift the landscape. Currently, the Lions' Super Bowl odds are around plus 2,500, but if they land Simmons and improve their defense significantly, those odds could tighten considerably, potentially dropping to plus 1,100 or better. For the Titans, odds of plus 15000 reflect their current rebuild state and uncertain future, but acquiring Simmons could accelerate their rebuilding process if they make smart picks with the draft capital they gain. Looking ahead, a move like this isn't just about this season. It's about setting a tone for the Lions' future. A player of Simmons' caliber can be a cornerstone for years to come, especially if Detroit continues to build around their young core. This could echo the dynasties of the past, where a dominant defensive line was a key ingredient to sustain success. For Lions fans, this is an exciting time. The team is already trending upward, and adding a top-tier talent like Simmons could be the final piece needed to make a serious run at the Super Bowl. Of course, nothing is official yet, and negotiations can be complex. But the signs point to a potential blockbuster trade that could reshape the NFC North and send shockwaves through the league. The Lions have been patient and strategic, and if they pull the trigger on this deal, it could mark the beginning of a new era of dominance for Detroit's defense, and ultimately their championship aspirations. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Detroit Lions news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. As fans, we all love those moments when our team makes a bold move, showing they're serious about competing now and in the future. The possibility of landing Jeffrey Simmons isn't just a rumor. It's a statement that the Lions are willing to go all in, investing in a defense that could become one of the league's best. Imagine the impact of Simmons lining up alongside the other stars we already have, and how much pressure he could generate for opponents trying to move the ball against Detroit. And speaking of the current roster, the Lions' defensive front has been a mixed bag this year. They've had moments of brilliance, but injuries and inconsistency have held them back at times. Adding Simmons would address some of those issues immediately, giving them the interior presence they need to stop the run and pressure the quarterback without solely relying on their edge rushers. This kind of upgrade could be the difference maker in close games, especially as we approach the playoff stretch run. The coaching staff, led by Dan Campbell, is known for their gritty, relentless approach, and Simmons' style fits perfectly with that mentality. He's a guy who plays with a motor that never stops, and his leadership on the field would be invaluable, especially for the younger players on the roster. It's about building a culture of toughness and excellence, and Simmons embodies that perfectly. The NFL trade deadline and offseason are often filled with surprises, but this one feels different. It's not just a speculative rumor, it's a strategic move that makes sense for both sides. The Titans get to pivot fully into rebuild mode, gaining valuable draft capital and freeing up cap space. The Lions, on the other hand, get a proven, elite interior disruptor who could be the centerpiece of their defense for years to come. We'll be watching closely in the coming weeks to see how this story develops. If the Lions pull off this deal, it could be a turning point, propelling them into serious Super Bowl contender territory. The NFC North is already competitive, but with Simmons anchoring that defensive line, Detroit would have a significant advantage not just in the division, but across the league. So, Lions fans, keep your eyes peeled. This potential move has all the makings of a franchise-defining moment. The team is on the rise, and with a player like Simmons in the fold, they could very well be on their way to orchestrating another legendary chapter in Detroit Lions history. It's an exciting time to be a fan, and the best is yet to come. And now, Detroit Lions fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Detroit Lions. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Detroit Lions news.